Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing the By the Book tag. It was originally done by Mary Berg, who also tagged me. I was also then tagged by Dan Martin over at his channel Dan Martin Likes You, and then I was also tagged by David over at The Poptimist, and I'll leave a link to all of their channels and videos down below. And thanks guys for tagging me, I really like the look of this tag. Basically this tag is a replicated version of a very fun series of articles that come out in the New York Times called By the Book, and that's where they interview mostly writers but occasionally actors and actresses, comedians and politicians, and ask them about their personal reading tastes and favorite books. So that's what I'm going to do right now, so let's go! So the first question is, what books are on your nightstand right now? And actually I got a ton of books on my nightstand. I would film it, but it's got like a bunch of dirty mugs and stuff there, so I'm not gonna film that. And basically, so I got a big stack of books over there. I have Uglies by Scott Westerfeld, Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages, both by Brandon Sanderson. And funnily enough, I'm not reading any of those actually at the moment. The book I am reading is sprawled out on my bed because I couldn't find my bookmark, and that is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. So the second question is, what was the last great book you read? And I think I'm going to have to go with The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. And I don't know, to me this was just such a great book. It's a book I'd recommend to anyone without any caveats. I just loved its attempt at trying to do an insane epic fantasy, simultaneously also doing a social realistic depiction. It was just, virtuosic, I thought. The last really good book I read before that, I would say, would be His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, and then before that, I would say The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. And all of these books, at some point or another, have child heroes running around going on adventures. So maybe there's a theme there. Question 3 is, if you could meet any writer, dead or alive, who would you want to meet and what would you want to know? And I think I'd like to travel back in time and have a nice afternoon tea with Jane Austen. I just think she'd be so funny. She would definitely make fun of me, but I think most of the jokes would just like fly over my head, so it would be fun. It would be awesome. It would be great. It would be delightful. Question 4 is, what books might we be surprised to find on my bookshelf? I don't know. So the ones that I just went through when I looked at my shelf to see that surprised me were The Society of Spectacle by Guy Debord, and it's signed by Will Self, who wrote the introduction. And I bought this book I think just a couple months after I graduated university, and I still had like this idealistic belief that I was going to read tons of literary theory and, intense academic texts, and sadly this book goes unread. But I love these editions, the Notting Hill editions, and they do a lot of nonfiction stuff. I really should give it a go. I probably will. So yeah, Guy Debord. And then another one I thought was Human, All Too Human by Friedrich Nietzsche, which was bought in a similar vein, though I actually have read one essay in here, and it was really good, and it was called On the Soul of Writers and Artists. And basically, it's like this proto-Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hour thesis, just about how the notion of genius doesn't exist, and behind all genius is hard work and craftsmanship. Basically, my understanding is that Nietzsche hated Wagner, and Wagner kept going around town calling himself a genius, so Nietzsche had to write this and be like, yo man, geniuses don't exist. Question 5 is, how do you organize your books? So I sort my books by genre, but I tried to do it really radically. So on the top shelf I had sci-fi and fantasy, and then had like Shakespeare, Homer, and the classics on the bottom, and literary books on the bottom. And I also tried to put like, books like Alice in Wonderland and Kafka, and I'd put those in my fantasy section. And so I was trying to be like really subversive and cool. But unfortunately, with just having so many books, my whole system has fallen apart, and I need to reorganize things and push more shelves back. And yeah. So question 6 is, what books are you embarrassed to not have read? What books you meant to have read but haven't yet? And yeah, I mean, it's hard. You can't read everything, but I mean, so things that I think weigh heavily on me that I haven't read are Shakespeare's Othello, George Eliot's Middlemarch, And, Tolstoy's Anna Karenina looks pretty good, but I haven't done them. Question 7 is disappointing, overrated, not very good. What book did everyone else like that you weren't a huge fan of, or that you thought you were supposed to like? And for that one, I'm going to say J.G. Ballard's Crash. I think, I suspect it might have been I was just in a bad mood or something, but I just found this book, I don't know, it just gave me a headache. It was just really, I found it really repetitive and indulgent and just kind of boring, if I'm being honest. I've read other J.G. Ballard, and I've really enjoyed some of the other stuff I read by him, so I would like to give him another chance, maybe even give Crash another chance. But yeah, wasn't a huge fan of this one. So question 8 is, what kind of stories are you drawn to? What kind of stories do you avoid? So I'd say that these days, the stories that I'm most drawn to are the ones full of wonder and adventure. Be it in a sci-fi, fantasy, or literary context, I just like stories that get me lost within worlds. On the other hand, I'm very suspicious of work that doesn't keep the reader in mind. To actually steal an answer from Philip Kerr, an author I really like, who just did the Buy the Book tag a few days ago, he said, the genre I most avoid is the self-consciously literary novel, unquote. And yeah, I think I'd say I feel the same way. Question 9 is, if you could require the president to read one book, what book would it be? By gosh, I really don't know how to answer that. Question 10 is, what do you plan on reading next? Good question. I think I'll either read Philip Reeve's Infernal Devices, Marissa Meyer's Cress, or, and most likely, I still gotta read and want to read Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own. So guys, those are the answers to all my questions. I'd like to tag Lauren at Reads and Daydreams, Leanne at Leanne Rose, and Leanne at Literary Diversions. I love all of these booktubers. I'd be so curious to hear their thoughts to these questions. I'll leave links to all of their channels down below. Anyways, guys, that's it. Please let me know what books are on your nightstand, what stories you're drawn to, what stories you're not drawn to. I'd love to hear those. Please comment down below. If you like this video, please like it, and if you really like this video, please subscribe. Until next time, happy reading. Bye. Man, what book should the president read? That's so much pressure in that question. As much pressure as being president.